Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome to the awards contender Oscar nominations morning. Is almost here. So it's time for my Oscar nomination predictions. We're doing picture, director, the 4 acting categories, and the 2 screenplay categories. What do I think is getting in? What do I think is not quite going to make it? Let's start with best adapted screenplay. So the 2 frontrunners there, the 2 at the top, I think, are One Battle After Another and Hamnet, right? Those are at the top. Then I have Frankenstein. I didn't have Frankenstein in screenplay a few weeks ago. I was like, maybe it gets into picture, supporting actor. Will it also get screenplay? That film has just come on so strong. I think it's pretty safe in screenplay as well. And then slots 4 and 5 in adapted screenplay are a little bit up for grabs. I don't know, if this is absolutely going to be those final 2 slots, but I have Bugonia and Train Dreams. Bugonia, I think, has a very good chance of getting into picture and actress, and maybe even actor, like we're going to talk about it. I predicted Bugonia to get into adapted screenplay many weeks ago. I thought even if it misses picture, Emma Stone looks pretty likely getting into actress, and then adapted screenplay. It's such a fresh and original film, like the way it's written. So with Bugonia, hanging on here, it's doing pretty well. It did well on BAFTA long list morning. It did well at SAG. It got into actress and actor there. So I think Bugonia makes it. Train Dreams, I'm not as confident in. I know many people feel pretty good about Train Dreams getting into adapted screenplay. I could see Train Dreams missing there for something else. Because when you think of that film, are you thinking about its writing? It's very subtle. There's not much dialogue. It's very much about the look and the feel of it, the cinematography, the performances. But because I'm feeling pretty good, it's going to make it into picture, then if it gets into picture, it probably also gets into screenplay. Now, what could overtake Train Dreams or Begonia here? I think the 2 alternates, the main alternates, are No Other Choice and Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Are we all sleeping on Wake Up Dead Man? Because that film has done terribly this award season. Didn't get any Golden Globe nominations, nothing at SAG. Did it get any Oscar shortlists in December? Maybe it got 1 or 2. But basically that film has been very quiet the last few weeks. So even though the last 2 Knives Out films got into screenplay at the Oscars, and it would make sense in a way for the third one to do it too, I think it might be the strongest of the 3 movies. It does feel weird to me that it just misses everywhere, including screenplay. It would not be a huge shocker if Wake Up Dead Man takes the place of Train Dreams, or even Begonia. That's possible. And then No Other Choice, I thought, had a pretty good chance of getting into at least adapted screenplay in the top 8 categories. For weeks, I was like, come on. That's gotta happen. Park Chan-wook, he's never received an Oscar nomination, ever. Come on. That film is so great. It's on my top 10 list of the year, as I talked about in that recent video. I think it's fantastic. No Other Choice should get in here. Part of me wants to predict with my heart and not my head and say, you know what? I'll take out Train Dreams. I'll put in No Other Choice. That makes it in. That film gets 2 nominations. It gets into international feature and adapted screenplay. But I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel very confident No Other Choice gets in here, even though it might be 6th place. It's just on the cusp. If there's any weakness to Frankenstein or Begonia or Train Dreams, I think No Other Choice probably slips in there before Wake Up Dead Man. But no, sadly, I just think Begonia and Train Dreams are stronger. Their best picture contenders are definitely getting in there, or going to be close to getting into picture, have a shot at acting nominations. I just don't think No Other Choice is going to happen, sadly. So my final Oscar nomination predictions in Best Adapted Screenplay are One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Frankenstein, Bugonia, and Train Dreams. Next up is Best Original Screenplay. So, spoiler alert, all 5 of those predictions I had in adapted, I'm also predicting in Best Picture. Now I'm like, wait a second, Brian. Like, so I have my 10 predictions in picture. Are all 10 of those movies going to also get my predictions in screenplay? Not necessarily. I feel like most years there's like at least one odd nomination that gets into screenplay, but it's not a movie in picture. I think if it happens, it'll be in original screenplay, not adapted. I did a live stream, a couple days ago where, I talked through all of my prediction ideas. This was the category. I needed a little bit of help because I had a tie, like for fifth place. There were two films that were battling it out. And over the course of about 5 minutes, talking to many of you in the comments and stuff, I finally made my decision. And I'm not going to go with the film here in the fifth place slot in original screenplay that I'm also predicting to get into picture. So in original screenplay, I have Sinners. I think that's in the number one spot. Sinners is going to do very well on Oscar nominations morning. It's likely getting into picture, director, actor, probably supporting actress, maybe supporting actor. Sinners is going to win one big trophy in the top 8 categories. And it's likely original screenplay. I think that's what we give it in the top 8. So I would have Sinners at number 1. Then I have Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, and It Was Just an Accident. I mean, Sentimental Value and Marty Supreme are pretty much locked up. They're safe. It Was Just an Accident isn't locked up. It's possible that could miss. It didn't have a good night at the Golden Globes. I thought maybe it'll win screenplay or international feature or something. It didn't win those. So I'm like, some people are taking It Was Just an Accident out of picture, out of director, even out of screenplay. And I'm like, even if It Was Just an Accident somehow missed picture and director, it still probably gets in here. I would have it in 4th place at least. I don't think it can win anymore. For a few weeks there, I was like, maybe it's not Sinners. Maybe It Was Just an Accident could have a shot to win the Oscar for original screenplay. Now it's just about let's get it in. Let's make sure it gets the nomination. And then you have that 5th place slot. There were 2 films I was going back and forth on the last couple days. The first one is, of course, The Secret Agent, which has been coming on really strong, did well at the Globes, won foreign language film and actor for Wagner Moura, and could overperform on Oscar nominations morning. It could very well get into picture and director and actor and original screenplay. So I was like, that might be the smart choice, but I've also been tugged over to Sorry Baby. Sorry Baby, one of my 10 favorite films of the year. When I saw that at Sundance a year ago, I said, this needs an Oscar nomination for original screenplay. It is so original. It's so beautifully done. But then things got really quiet for Sorry Baby for 4, 5, 6 months. I mean, it was a few months there where you weren't hearing much. It kind of came and went in theaters over the summer. So I was like, oh, maybe Sorry Baby just kind of fades away. But then it's had these little triumphs the last few weeks. It got into the Globes and Best Actress for Ava Victor. That was huge. That was great. And then Julia Roberts gave it that pivotal shout out, right before she opened the envelope to reveal the winner of Best Motion Picture Comedy Musical, one battle after another. She gave that shout out to Ava Victor and Sorry Baby. And that was the night before Oscar voting started. And it is hard to say, will that make a huge difference? Maybe it doesn't really. Maybe we're reading too much into that. But because of the timing of it, near the end of the show, the camera cut to Ava Victor saying thank you. I think that might make the difference, Even though it's really close, I am going with Sorry Baby. I think Sorry Baby is going to miss Best Picture, miss the acting categories, but it's going to make original screenplay over The Secret Agent. I might be thinking about this too hard. Maybe it is just The Secret Agent. But I'm like, would we have Sentimental Value and It Was Just an Accident and The Secret Agent all in original screenplay? I don't know. I feel like there's going to be one more American film that gets in, an indie film that had its moments and it's just so beautifully done. Sorry Baby, I think, is going to make the cut. The other big alternate is Weapons. Weapons is right there on the fringe in picture. It got into PGA. Amy Madigan is very competitive and supporting actress. I floated, what if Weapons got into screenplay, original screenplay? I think that's possible too. I don't think Sorry Baby and Weapons get in. That would very much surprise me. It'd be one or the other to take the place of, let's say, the secret agents. I just think Sorry Baby has a little bit more momentum right now, so that's what I'm going with. It could also be Weapons and the secret agents. If that shows up on Oscar nominations morning, I'll be like, yep. Should have stuck with that one, Brian. But for right now, my final Oscar nomination predictions in original screenplay are Sinners, Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, It Was Just an Accident, and Sorry Baby. Now we have Best Supporting Actor, which I think at this moment, guys, is the easiest one to call, like the 5 nominees, like who's getting in. There are, of course, a couple alternates, but the other 3, I feel like there's room for a big surprise. I'm not feeling that way with supporting actor. So at the top, I have Stellan Skarsgård's Sentimental Value. I know he wasn't nominated at SAG, and that hurts him a little bit. But he won at the Globes. I think he's probably going to win at BAFTA. You know, not 100%, but that's looking pretty good. I think BAFTA voters will respond to Sentimental Value. So I have him in number 1. I have Jacob Elordi Frankenstein at number 2. He won at Critics' Choice. He's probably, I think, going to win at SAG for that. So Elordi will have 2 big prizes, and Skarsgård will have 2 big prizes going into the Oscars if it works out that way. And I think in a close race, it'll make more sense to predict Skarsgård to win the Oscar. And then the other 3, I have both One Battle Boys, Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. I think they both make it. I don't know how you snub one or the other. I mean, like, I have floated the idea. Maybe it is just del Toro and Penn misses. Like, he has 2 Best Actor Academy Awards. Maybe they're like, he has enough. Like, let's just nominate del Toro. But watching that film again, like a couple weeks back, I'm like, Sean Penn is so freaking brilliant in this movie. That would not sit well with me if Penn missed. And I just think he's beloved enough, like, in terms of his body of work and stuff and the strength of the movie. I think Penn is safe. And then my 5th place slot goes to Paul Mescal, Hamnet. I think he's also safe in a way. I think that's the safest 5th place prediction I have, even though I have Mescal in 5th. I feel pretty confident he makes it. That'll surprise me if Paul Mescal Hamnet is left off the list. You know, you look at the alternates, and you have 2 great performances from Sinners. You have Miles Caton, who got in at SAG. Maybe he makes it in on Oscar nominations morning. And Delroy Lindo, he showed up in the BAFTA long list. That was something. I keep going back to, man, if Sinners overperforms on Thursday, maybe it's not Caton they nominate for supporting actor, it's Delroy Lindo. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, if Lindo got in, who would I take out? I mean, I guess Mescal, like, you know, maybe Penn, but these 5 in supporting actor just feel pretty locked up. You know, at Critics' Choice and at the Globes, you had these 5, and you had Adam Sandler, Jay Kelly. And Jay Kelly has just fallen off a cliff, right? I mean, I don't think Jay Kelly gets a single Oscar nomination. For a few weeks, I was like, well, maybe it at least gets screenplay. It shows up there. But, like, I don't think so. I don't think it even gets into screenplay. Adam Sandler, I've been waiting for his Oscar nomination. I wanted it to happen for Uncut Gems a few years ago. And it seemed like that was going to happen. But, you know, he missed at SAG along with George Clooney, and you know, he made the BAFTA long list, not Clooney, right? Sandler was on that, but Jay Kelly didn't do very well on the BAFTA long lists as a whole. So I just think, like, if there was one person here who was like, we're floating as getting in, you know, maybe. But these other 5 have been very strong, like, all season long. So I don't think Sandler makes it. Lindo or Caton, maybe in a shocker. But my final Oscar nomination predictions for Best Supporting Actor are Stellan Skarsgård, Sentimental Value, Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein, Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Paul Mescal, Hamnet. All right, Best Supporting Actress. This category, oh my God, the headaches this category has given me the last few weeks. I'm just like, what are they going to do here? There's so much chaos in supporting actress. There's a good 7 to 8 people who have a very good chance of making it in. And the question is, like, which directions are the Academy voters going to go in? As of this moment, I think there's only 2 locks in supporting actress. I think it's Amy Madigan, Weapons, and Teyana Taylor, One Battle After Another. Those 2 are locks for Oscar nominations. I mean, I guess you could argue, well, Madigan's not a lock because Weapons might miss in picture and screenplay and pretty much everywhere else, and it's a horror film, so I guess you could argue that, but she won a Critics' Choice, she got in at SAG, like, she's been very, very strong. I think she makes it. So then you look at the other 3 slots, there's a few people to consider. I am going with Wunmi Musaku for Sinners. I think Sinners gets 1 more acting nomination, not just Michael B. Jordan in Best Actor. And I just think Musaku, she has the best shots of everyone in that cast besides Jordan of getting in. She's so memorable, so fantastic in that. She missed at the Globes, but she got in at Critics' Choice and SAG, right? So it's looking pretty good for her. I will predict her there. I think at least 1 person from Sentimental Value gets into supporting actress. I am going with Inga Ibsdottir Lilius. You know, for a few months, I would say, like after I saw the film at TIFF, I was like, you know, Inga Ibsdottir Lilius, she's very new. She's not very well known. Elle Fanning has been around for years. Like, she's much more famous. Like, Fanning probably makes it. But, like, the more I think about that movie now, I'm like, the real standout supporting actress contender there, it's Lilius. And I think she's going to make it. I think Lilius could win at BAFTA in supporting actress. That could also shake up the supporting actress race. So I have Madigan, Taylor, Musaku, and Lilius. And my 5th place slots. This hurts my heart, guys. It does. It hurts it. I am not going with Ariana Grande, Wicked for Good. This is not a video where I'm giving you what I would nominate. I'm giving you my predictions, what I think is getting into each top category. And I just think Wicked for Good has faded enough that Grande could miss. She might well get in. I mean, this is kind of a win-win for me because if Grande gets in, fantastic. I'll be very excited about that. I think she's deserving. But if she misses, for this other person I think has a very good shot of taking her place, I'll be proud of getting my predictions right. So it's a win-win for me. In that 5th place slot, I am predicting Odessa A. Zion, Marty Supreme. She got in at SAG. Marty Supreme is growing in strength, I think, with each passing week. It's doing well. And I don't know about you guys, I'm getting a Monica Barbaro vibe from Odessa A. Zion, Marty Supreme. She just needed to get in at SAG for me to say, you know, it might not be Grande, it might be A. Zion. So Ariana Grande still has a good chance. I'm not saying she's out of it. She got in at Critics' Choice and Golden Globes. She got in at SAG, even though the movie missed an ensemble in Best Cast and in Best Lead Actress for Cynthia Erivo. Grande still showed up there. So I'm like, Wicked for Good, it has an outside chance of getting into picture. Like, I wouldn't predict it in picture anymore, but it's possible. It's going to get at least 2 or 3 technical nominations, I think. So Grande could still get in there. Like, there's enough passion for her in that movie. She overtakes Odessa A. Zion. It's close. It's really close. You know, it's kind of like 48-52. I'm kind of right there in the middle. But I'm going with A. Zion. There's also Elle Fanning, who could make it in. Like, she got in at Critics' Choice and Golden Globes. Like maybe Fanning also gets in. Let's say it's not A. Zion. It's not Grande. It's Fanning. We get 2 nominations from Sentimental Value and Supporting Actress. That is possible too. I'm not going to rule that out. And then the long shot possibility nomination, I think, is Gwyneth Paltrow, Marty Supreme. What if she pulled a Judi Dench Belfast? We all think, okay, if Marty Supreme gets into Supporting Actress, it's going to be, of course, Odessa A. Zion. She got in at SAG. What if instead it was Gwyneth Paltrow? She showed up in the BAFTA long list. She is there. She's the more famous of the 2. But I don't know. It's like Gwyneth Paltrow. She's not exactly Judi Dench. It's not like, you know, it's not like it's Odessa A. Zion and Meryl Streep. You know, it's not that. So I don't think Paltrow makes it. I think if it's someone from that movie, it's A. Zion. And even though I would love to see Ariana Grande get in for the 2nd year in a row for the same character, that would be really cool. She deserves it. I adore her performance in Wicked for Good. I don't know. Just like, Passion has faded, and I think back on Margot Robbie, Barbie, got in pretty much everywhere. She missed on Oscar nominations morning. Like, if you get into all the big precursors, sometimes that doesn't mean you're automatically nominated for the Oscar. That might happen with Grande this year. So my final Oscar nomination predictions and Best Supporting Actress are Amy Madigan, Weapons, Teyana Taylor, One Battle After Another, Wunmi Musaku, Sinners, Inga Ibsdottir Lilias, Sentimental Value, and Odessa A. Zion, Marty Supreme. Next up is Best Actor. All right. Who is going to get into Best Actor at the 98th Academy Awards? Who makes that top 5? I think most of us probably have the same top 4, right? Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, I think he's the front runner. Unless something happens at BAFTA and SAG and he starts losing, I think he probably wins the Oscar. Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, he is safe. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, what if DiCaprio won at BAFTA or SAG? What if he shook things up and we went into Oscars night like, is DiCaprio going to win his second Oscar? I mean, never forget, it's looking very likely One Battle is taking picture and director and adapted screenplay. I feel like someone from that cast wins a prize too. We're all kind of sleeping on DiCaprio, like, oh, he'll just get nominated everywhere. He probably doesn't win anything, but if he wins at BAFTA or SAG, like, watch out. Third place, I have Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent. I think he's pretty safe. I think he's getting in. He won at the Globes in Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. His movie won Best Non-English Language Film. The night before Oscar voting got started, he gave a lovely speech. He's very, very, very good in that movie. The Fernanda Torres I'm Still Here effect of winning at the Golden Globes, not being nominated at SAG or BAFTA, but they still get in at the Oscars. I think Moura is safe. I'm not sure he has a chance to win, not being nominated at BAFTA or SAG. That would be weird to me. But he's definitely getting in. And then Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. I mean, that would be a huge snub. If Michael B. Jordan missed, I guess it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility. Like, maybe Jordan misses in a total shocker. We're all super confident. Oh yeah, he's in a Best Actor at the Oscars. Like, that's happening. And then he's not there on Thursday. Maybe. But that would just feel wrong to not predict him. Like I think he's safely in, like, playing twin brothers in that movie. He's so great. He's never been nominated for an Oscar. Sinners is going to do very well on Oscar nominations morning. That wouldn't feel right to me if Jordan missed an actor. So I think he's in 5th place, the 5th place slot in Best Actor. I think it comes down to 3 people. And right now, I am going with Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, even though I'm not predicting Blue Moon to get into picture or screenplay. It's kind of like the Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, where it might just be like a lone nomination. In Best Actor, Ethan Hawke is the only nominee for that film. Like, that movie doesn't get in anywhere else. But he's so strong in that. He's gotten in everywhere he's needed to. He got nominated at Critics' Choice and the Globes and SAG. And he's BAFTA longlisted. And he's very beloved. He's been doing great work for decades. He's been nominated at the Oscars before. I am feeling pretty confident Ethan Hawke is going to make it. But Jesse Plemons, boy, is he nipping at his heels. Like, he is close, Jesse Plemons. If Bugonia makes it into Best Picture at the Oscars, Emma Stone safely gets into Actress. Jesse Plemons, he showed up at SAG, and his performance in Bugonia is mind-blowing. I love Stone in that. I think Plemons is even better. It's his best performance, I think. He deserves to be here. So in the last 48 hours, I have been floating. What if I took out Ethan Hawke and replaced him with Jesse Plemons' Bugonia? Blue Moon, not in picture or screenplay. Bugonia is in picture and actress and screenplay. Doesn't Jesse Plemons make more sense, Brian? Doesn't that make more sense? I don't know. He missed a Critics' Choice, but he got in at the Globes. He got in at SAG. He's on the BAFTA long list, right? So, just missing Critics' Choice, that's not a huge deal. So, on paper, guys, Jesse Plemons makes more sense than Ethan Hawke. just in terms of the strength of Plemons' movie versus the strength of Hawke's film, Joel Edgerton is my other major alternate for Train Dreams. What if he overtook Ethan Hawke and Jesse Plemons, got that 5th place slots? That is also possible, you know? He has not been nominated everywhere, but he got in at the Globes, and he's well liked. He's also never received an Oscar nomination. Train Dreams, I think, is probably getting into picture. It would make sense that Edgerton came along in actor, and then the film also getting adapted screenplay. That would all make sense to me. So, like, those are the main 7, I think, for Best Actor. We only have 5 slots. If the top 4 are safe, is that final slot going to Hawke or Plemons or Edgerton? My other alternate is Lee Byung-hun, No Other Choice, who I would nominate. I think he's bonkers great in that film. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that last slot is Hawke, Plemons, or Edgerton. It's very close for me. I have floated predicting Plemons, but I got to go with my guts. I think Ethan Hawke is going to make it in. So my final Oscar nomination predictions and Best Actor are Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, and Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. All right, Best Actress. My favorite category. Are we going to get a shocker here? Is it going to be the 5 many of us are predicting? You know, I've looked at a few lists the last couple days. Most everybody is predicting these 5. They make the most sense, but not everything makes sense on Oscar nominations morning, right? We can go in with our thoughts and we're like, I think it's going to be these 5. They feel pretty tight and safe. Like, I think it's going to happen, and then we get a shocker. That might happen this year. Best Actress has been extremely competitive, and SAG threw us for a surprise or two. You know, we're not getting BAFTA nominations before Oscar nominations. We could get a surprise here. At the top, I, of course, have Jessie Buckley Hamnet. I think she's probably going to sweep. Maybe she loses at SAG, like to Rose Byrne or something, but I think Jessie Buckley is pretty safely right now winning the Oscar. In second place, I have Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, even though that's probably going to be the only nomination for that movie. That does put you in like kind of a troubling spot, vulnerable spot. Like, could Rose Byrne miss? I think she's done well enough this season. She's won enough. Her performance is just bonkers incredible in that. I think she's safe. Even if she's not ultimately in second place, I think she gets the Oscar nomination. And then I have Emma Stone, Bugonia, in third place. Not to say that she's going to win, but I think that's pretty well locked up. She's so great in that, you know, they love Emma Stone. She's been nominated a bunch of times. She's won Best Actress twice. And I guess you could point to that and say, they've given her enough, Brian. Maybe she is the big snub this year. Maybe Emma Stone misses. I just think the physical transformation she has in that movie, all the dialogue, the back and forth with Jesse Plemons, I think Emma Stone makes it. So I have her in. And then the final 2 spots, these are where we could get a surprise. It's possible. But I have in fourth place Chase Infinity, One Battle After Another. She's been nominated everywhere this season, right? From Critics' Choice to now. She hasn't missed. I wondered, I'm like, is she in enough of that movie? Is she too young? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, she is the heart and soul of One Battle After Another. She is fantastic in the film, and it's likely winning Best Picture and Best Director. So why wouldn't Chase Infinity come along for the ride, at least get the nomination? So I think she gets in. And then my 5th place slot goes to Renata Reinsve, Sentimental Value. She also makes sense. Even though she missed at SAG, you could point to that and say, well, they didn't nominate her there. They didn't nominate anyone from Sentimental Value at SAG. So I don't think that hurts her that much. I mean, she's getting in at BAFTA for sure. She's probably going to be in the top 2 or 3 slots to win at BAFTA, right? I mean, maybe she could even beat Jessie Buckley there. It's like, it's possible, maybe. You know, I just think, like, don't think about her omission at SAG. Like, oh, she's out of it. She can't get the Oscar nomination. She deserved an Oscar nomination a few years ago for the worst person in the world in Best Actress. It didn't happen. She is incredible in Sentimental Value. She deserves to be here. Like, I'm going to riot. I'm going to be pissed if she misses, because in a way, I feel like the main alternate, the sixth place person right now, is Kate Hudson's Song Sung Blue. She got in at SAG, she got in at the Globes, she's on the BAFTA long list. I just don't think that film is strong enough to get her in at the Oscars. I will be surprised, guys, if Hudson makes it in, let's say, over Infinity or Reinsva. I'll be like, really? You know? I'm going to try not to be super mad about it if it happens. You know, I'm not just going to like start banging on the desk like, God damn it. You know, I'm going to try not to do that because I've always loved Kate Hudson. Almost Famous is one of my favorite movies. Like, to see her get an Oscar nomination again, it's like, Brian, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, it'd be okay. I just don't think the movie is quite good enough to like get her into Best Actress at the Oscars. That's me. You might feel differently. I do think in a way she has a better shot of getting the Oscar nomination in Best Actress over Amanda Seyfried, Jennifer Lawrence, Cynthia Erivo, Tessa Thompson, Ava Victor. Kate Hudson, because she has kind of a narrative there, you know, she's the best thing in that movie and she got in at SAG. That's where I'm like, I think Hudson might be in sixth place. I would love to see Amanda Seyfried shock the world, get into Best Actress at the Oscars for The Testament of Anne Lee. Could that happen? That movie has been doing really poorly this award season. Seyfried got in at Critics' Choice and the Globes. Things were starting well for her. But it's just been really quiet the last couple weeks on that movie. And if Testament of Anne Lee has no shot in picture or director or screenplay or like any technical category, did it make any shortlists in December? I'm like, would the Testament of Anne Lee just get that one nomination for Amanda Seyfried? I mean, maybe. I mean, I would be delightfully surprised. But if Seyfried got in, who would we take out? Would it be Reinsva? Would it be Infinity? Would it be Stone? I think Stone is way too strong. Infinity, like there is enough vulnerability there. You know, maybe Infinity were to miss, like, but like for Seyfried to get in instead, that would not make sense to me. I also think Reinsva is very strong. So I just think those main five, they feel kind of locked up. There is room for a shocker here. I am going to expect something on Thursday, like maybe Hudson makes it. Maybe Seyfried shocks us. You know, I think it'd be one of those two in the alternates. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about these five. I think it's going to be these five incredible women who get into this category at the Oscars. My final Oscar nomination predictions for Best Actress are Jessie Buckley, Hamnet, Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Emma Stone, Bugonia, Chase Infinity, One Battle After Another, and Renata Reinsva, Sentimental Value. Okay, 2 categories left. Best Director is next. This one could also go a few directions. I'm not feeling overly confident with my director predictions here. I feel like I'm going to go 4 for 5 probably. Somebody's going to make it in. I'm not expecting. So in director, I have, of course, PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson, right at the top. He is winning that, I'm pretty sure. Ryan Coogler, Sinners, he's going to make it in. Chloe Zhao, I've heard it floated from a couple people. Maybe Chloe Zhao gets snubbed. But Hamnet is very strong right now. You know, it won at the Globes in motion picture drama. It's one of the best films of the year. I'm like, come on. Like, Chloe Zhao has to make it in director, right? And then 4th place, I have Jafar Panahi. It was just an accident. I've been seeing people take him out of director, take the movie out of picture. What, just because it didn't win a major prize at the Globes and people think it's kind of floundering? I'm not feeling that. I think the director's branch of the Academy, they are going to give Jafar Panahi the nomination. He made a great film and he has a narrative. Oh boy, does he have a narrative, right? So even if he has no shot in hell of being like a number 1 or 2 or 3, even if it's slot 5, I think Panahi probably gets into director. And then my 5th place slot is Josh Safdie, Marty Supreme. This is the one I'm like 70, 80% on. I'm like, Josh Safdie could miss, Brian. But when I finally watched that movie on Christmas Eve, I was just bowled over by the directing job he did on that. It's so great. He deserves to be in these 5. I would love to see it, but there's a lot of competition here. There are 3 other men who have a very good chance of making it into director. You have Kleber Mendonça Filho, The Secret Agent, because that movie is coming on so strong. People have said, what about him in director? And that could happen. I'm not predicting it here, but I'll be prepared for that. That might happen. You have Guillermo del Toro, Frankenstein, who got in at DGA. He's very beloved. That movie's been doing well. Maybe, like I'm overthinking this, maybe del Toro takes the place of Josh Safdie. Maybe it's just del Toro. But I'm just like, I don't know. And you have Joachim Trier, Sentimental Value. Is he going to make it in? I predicted him in my November early predictions video. I thought he had a very good chance. You know, I keep going back to Sentimental Value being a very subtle film, you know, mostly about performances and dialogue. I feel like he might miss in director at the Oscars, even though the film is absolutely getting into picture, I think. I just think like the category is very crowded. There's like these 8 amazing people. 3 of them have to miss. I will be delightfully surprised if Trier makes it. Like that will be awesome. I'll be very excited for him. But I'm not predicting him right now. Jafar Panahi, I feel pretty good about. Josh Safdie, again, I'm like, I don't know. Like Safdie is a little bit on the cusp, on the bubble. Like I could easily see him being snubbed for one of these other 3. But I'm just going to go with my guts and Best Director. These are the 5 I am predicting. But there might be a surprise. Like I will be prepared for that. My final Oscar nomination predictions for Best Director are Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler, Sinners, Chloe Zhao, Hamnet, Jafar Panahi, It Was Just an Accident, and Josh Safdie, Marty Supreme. Finally, Best Picture. We have 10 slots. What am I predicting? To get into those 10, I'm feeling like 99%, about 8 of these. And then you get to those last 2. We could see a shocker there. We could see something very few of us are predicting. And on Thursday, we're like, oh, shit. It made it, you know? So in Best Picture, I think the top 6 are pretty well locked, right? You have One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, and Sentimental Value. I think those 6... 99.999%, like those are safe, those are in. I think we get 2 more international films. I think we get It Was Just an Accident and The Secret Agent. Those are in my slots 7 and 8. I think those are also probably safe. Again, some people have been floating like maybe It Was Just an Accident will miss here. I think in a field of 10, I think that's getting in. I think Neon gets the 3, right? They get Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, and The Secret Agent. That's a pretty good run for Neon, right? In Best Picture. Then you get to slots 9 and 10, and a few things could happen here. So my slot 9 goes to Train Dreams. I really feel confident Train Dreams is going to make picture. Even if it misses Best Actor for Joel Edgerton, you know, I think it probably gets into adapted screenplay and picture. Cinematography, maybe 1 or 2 other categories. You know, it's not going to overperform. Train Dreams is not getting like 9 Oscar nominations. But I think it's good enough of a movie. It has enough of a fan base. I think it makes it into picture. My slot 10 is Bugonia. I think Bugonia gets that final slot. That's the one I'm kind of like, I'm iffy on Bugonia. It wouldn't be a shocker if that missed in picture. Let's say it only got into Best Actress for Emma Stone and Best Adapted Screenplay. Those are the top 2 like big categories it makes it into. Maybe a few others in technical categories, but in the top 8, it's just actress and screenplay. That would make sense to me. So I'm not like overly confident about Bugonia, but it keeps doing well throughout the season. It did very well at the BAFTA long list. I mean, it showed up everywhere there. It was in director, you know, it was all over the place. And Jesse Plemons got in at SAG and Best Actor. So there is love for that movie, and it's wildly ambitious and creative. I think that would be a really cool Best Picture nomination. So that would get my 10th place slots, but I keep going back to, Brian, aren't they probably going to give one like giant blockbuster movie a Best Picture nomination? Wicked for Good, Avatar, Fire and Ash, and F1. One of those 3, maybe. I mean, Wicked for Good, I just think is faded. I don't think it makes it, but it's not impossible. It could still show up there, especially if Ariana Grande gets into supporting actress. it did well enough, right? In the Oscar shortlist in December, it showed up in a few places there. Wicked for Good, it's still like kind of on the table for picture. It's about to fall. It's like on the edge, but it's possible. Avatar Fire and Ash, the first two Avatar films got into picture. I don't think that makes it. I would say that has a lesser chance than Wicked for Good. In some ways, I think of these three big films, F1 might have the best chance because it showed up on the PGA list, right? It showed up at the Producers Guild Awards in those 10 slots. I mean, it's not to say every year, like the 10 movies that get into PGA, those are the same 10 movies that get in at the Oscars. That doesn't usually happen. So, typically like, 8 or 9 of them overlap, but then there's 1 or 2 that don't make it. F1, I mean, I'm just not getting Best Picture vibes with that at the Oscars. That would surprise me. And then the other alternate is Weapons, which also got in at PGA. That would be a Best Picture nomination that would make me cheer. On Thursday morning, I will go nuts if they announce Weapons in picture. That would be awesome. A horror film, my favorite horror film of 2025, getting into picture. That would very much help Amy Madigan's chances to win Best Supporting Actress. Weapons, like maybe even has a chance in original screenplay. Maybe they go more for Weapons than I'm expecting. So that's a possibility too. I floated earlier, what if I took out Bugonia and replaced it with Weapons? I mean, that would be cool. I don't know. I think like in a close race, I think Bugonia makes more sense than Wicked for Good, Avatar, F1, and Weapons. But I think those other 4 alternates, it's not going to surprise me if they slip in there and like a Train Dreams or a Begonia just doesn't quite make the final list. I could see that. But yeah, I've thought a lot about these 10 slots in Best Picture. I feel good. I'm feeling pretty good about these predictions. I can't wait to see what happens on Oscar nominations morning. It is almost here, you guys. My final Oscar nomination predictions for Best Picture are One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Train Dreams, and Bugonia. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and let me know in the comments below what are your final Oscar nomination predictions, and I will see you next time, bright and early, on Oscar nominations morning with all of my reactions here at the Awards Contender.